or like where they did that at, they were supposed to tie in the X-Men immediately off base. And Professor X, even with all the crazy shit with her and the kids, and because she can't physically have them. She can't have children. And he was supposed to come to her and be like, yo, stop all this wild and shit. Like, you can't have kids, right? Like, this is fake. He was supposed to shut all of that down. Like, but they let her go on with this fucking fever dream. And I'm just like, what?
I don't like the fact that they brought in Evan Peters like that as a tease, but you know that we're not gonna never get a closure to that. Evan Peters is a great actor and everything.
Amazing, bro.
He could have been the perfect, like, bring him into the MCU, but we're never gonna get a payoff for that.
Oh yeah, nah.
It's like he was there if he was there for us to see, you're like, oh yeah, we know who that is. Literally, that's what it was for. But you're never gonna see him again.
Oh man.
What's her name getting her own spinoff from that show though too? The villain of that show.
Who?
What was her name? The villain of WandaVision?
Agatha.
Agatha.
Oh. Yeah. Why?
Her little witch ass.
Why she getting a spinoff?
I don't fucking, at this point, I don't even know. Disney can go to hell. I'm sorry. Like,
she don't need no spinoff.
I don't know if it's gonna be on Disney Plus or it's gonna be a physical movie, but like that shit is trash.
No, it'll be on Disney Plus.
Gross.
I hope if they're doing it, I hope they're using it to launch part of the dark side of the Marvel universe, which is Blades and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's the only way I can see
back when Loki season 2 come out. Like I'm just ready.
Yeah, Loki was good. Yeah,
that was great.
I'm gonna watch it again, but it was good.
What did you think of Moon Knight?
I definitely didn't watch that.
You didn't watch Moon Knight?
I watched it.
What about
there's a lot of stuff I haven't
seen.
I
watched Moon Knight and I was like, I was disappointed.
What about Miss Marvel?
Oh, I'm
didn't watch that either.
I watched an episode and I'm supposed to finish it. Like, bro, me and my cousin was supposed to review that junk so long ago. I ain't watched that junk yet.
I ain't watched that. I didn't watch the Eternals. I ain't watched none of that shit.
That's the only thing I didn't watch. She-Hulk and Ms. Marvel, but I watched everything else.
The only thing I didn't like about the Eternals was the there's not going to be a payoff to that either. I don't think because
the Eternals was good.
They have a whole bunch of movies though. You mean to tell me that nobody notices that there's a body coming out the earth? That's just
right.
That's still sitting there.
Right.
Nobody's gonna talk about that.
Yo, I'm trying to figure out what the hell they're gonna do with Jonathan Majors' ass. All right, so how are you gonna figure this out? That man obviously may or may not be going to prison. Y'all need to figure out what the fuck this man gonna do. What you hold his career in his hands, but sorry, in your hands.
If
you were them, would you keep him?
Honestly speaking, if I can be very, 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 very candid, I would.
Why?
Because the reason being is that given the situation, we all know he did it. And it's only because what's good for the goose is fucking good for the gander. Y'all got fucking what the fuck, the Flash out here thriving.
Yeah.
Fucking thriving.
Fucking weirdo.
Dog. Like, and he did it's much worse crimes to me as far as like with the kids and stuff. Like, hey yo, fire him. Fire them. Sorry, their pronouns are they and them. Fire them. They need to be fired immediately. But this person's out here thriving. Okay.
The word is they were going to replace him, but it was too late for them to actually do that because the movie was done. So
yeah, okay, sure.
Jonathan Majors, I don't know. Like he did that shit. What sold me?
We know they.
Oh yeah, nah.
If they bring him back, if they bring him back, I'll be shocked.
They're being calculated about it for real though, because they're waiting.
They're waiting to see how it plays out.
I would have done the same. I would have waited too.
I would have waited too. I would have waited to see how it plays out in the next few months and see if he could build a case. to try to beat it.
Beat the allegations for
and
real.
Even though we know he did it, if he beat it,
if he beat it, then come on in. I'm sorry.
And come on back.
No, if he beat it, like for real. Because it's not fair. It really isn't fucking fair. It's not fair. Why is that person out here? Like, I'm so livid. You thriving out here, they have so many allegations, different kinds. From the weirdo kid stuff to like
Ezra Miller's career look like it's gonna be over. I don't see him getting any more roles after this for a while.
They better savor every fucking dollar they got now.
With the things going on, bro. It just seems like they about to be on top. All of the weirdos,
that movie did too well. I'm sorry. They may have. It might not. It's never gonna be what it was, but they're good. They're not gonna be poor.
And people gonna watch that junk. My brother's going.
You think he's not gonna get? You think they're not gonna get residual?
I'm still deciding if I'm going to watch it because I don't care. If I do, it's to get out the house.
I want to see it because I love the Flash character, but like I don't support that fuck shit that he did.
Me neither.
Like, he was grooming that little girl.
So do y'all separate the art from the artist a lot sometimes?
Depends on the severity.
It depends.
It depends on the severity of the case.
It depends for me too. Like I feel
like with music is more difficult.
I can't fuck with R. Kelly no more. But then somebody brought up a really big point for me, and this is the hardest part because there's a lot of songs that R. Kelly wrote that I didn't realize that he wrote.
Yep.
It is just like, oh damn! Like,
so you gonna hear him no matter what, but at the same time, it ain't his voice. You can't. Like,
to me, if I don't know he wrote it, I'm going ahead.
Right. If we really want to get deep into this, we support all of that stuff because this system was built on that. You can't really get away from it. In all of these situations and the big corporations and stuff like that, they're doing a lot of inhumane things and they're doing a lot of things that are not ethical. And we still consume it. We still use it every day without really knowing what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard because this country just so messed up, bro.
Because if you want to take it that far, there's a lot of movies that Harvey Weinstein is behind. A lot. Yeah. A heavy dose.
And that's the thing, it starts affecting other people's careers at that point. So no, R. Kelly's music I can't fuck with. Especially when you do the analyzation. He was telling us in a lot of his songs. The Pied Piper shit, I'm just like,
yeah, he was
come on, bro. Like he was telling everybody the whole time and nobody.
And I used to love that. Move your body like a snake, man. That's the only songs I really like. His stuff didn't stick to me like it did with everybody else. So I understand the hype, but at the same time, it's like y'all can live without that man music. Y'all don't listen to his music every day.
For me, it's not his music. It's the things he's featured on.
I was just about to say the features. The
Make It Rain. That nigga's verse was pretty nice. I can't hold it.
He nice on a lot of stuff.
Like, he's nice. Like, I hate it. I hate it.
On that freaking song he got with Ja Rule. That what the name of that song?
Fuck.
Dang, I'm in love with a stripper. That verse on their part.
Man,
I'm gonna get down on my knees and ask that ass to marry me. I'm like, dang. And you can't I ain't skipping that verse if I listen to the song.
That's the thing though. Like where do you draw the line?
Where do you draw the line?
Yeah, that's how it's hard. That's why I say it's hard. It's really hard
because his stuff has been ingrained in our stuff. So like I'm really like at first I was really mad at certain people. Now I'm mad if he was out and you're going to an R. Kelly concert and giving him money that way.
I'm not mad if you listen to R. Kelly's music or anybody's music who has done something. I'm mad when you come online and you say, I don't care what y'all say. I'm supporting R. Kelly. I don't care what y'all say.
Because you don't
You can literally listen to this man's music. We don't know you doing that, but you announcing it, that's different. Because to me, you telling me that you support what he did.
Yeah.
We didn't need to know that. We didn't ask you that. All those people who was like, I don't this person did this, why y'all wanna cancel R. Kelly, but such and such did this and y'all ain't cancel them. I hate that too.
Those are the dumbest arguments ever.
I hate that too.
Don't compare nothing else.
Next in line, don't worry.
We're talking about him right now.
I feel bad for y'all kids because y'all gonna be the same ones ignoring the stuff that happens to them.
Then they start blaming the girls, but they knew what was gonna happen. They knew what was like. Come on, man.
Like
the last installation of that shit was so disgusting to me.
It was, bro. The climate during that time when the court cases and all that stuff was going on, I just was looking like y'all are messed up in y'all head. It just made me realize how messed up people are.
We knew as a kid how he was. We knew it. Because if you were, especially my generation, if you saw the video,
they was making them pee jokes forever.
Yep.
That wasn't even funny.
Dave Chappelle on the Chappelle show.
They was making them jokes forever. They was making jokes about him forever.
I was singing that song though. I was. My bad. Like it was.
I think Dave Chappelle was doing it to like, come on, man. He was saying it was ridiculous. It was satire. He was like, this is ridiculous that we all know that he's guilty of this, but he's still famous.
Yeah. Right.
Yuck.
Boondocks did the best though. They did the best R. Kelly thing.
What killed me?
Welcome back to the Social Cycle Podcast, where we take a look at things affecting the Black community from a sociological and psychological point of view. I am Boonie, and I'm here today with Seye, Royal, and Vanjalyn. How are y'all doing today?
Awesome.
All right.
So today we are going to talk about age and whether it matters when it comes to dating. You know, we gave y'all a preview, the king of pedophilia, because I feel like R. Kelly is like, because he's the most talked about when you talk about pedophilia. But we're gonna have this.
Think of that that other Aaliyah song, Age of Number, the Number, knowing that he was involved in that album. So
right.
Yeah.
I don't even really listen to Aaliyah like that either.
Yeah, once she passed, I
don't listen to her like that. Go. Loved her music. I don't listen to her like that though.
I love me some Aaliyah.
I did too, but so we're gonna jump right in to the topics, and we're gonna start with the What's Your Theory segment. Do you think age should be considered when dating? Is there a certain age you think we should start dating? What's appropriate to you? What's an appropriate age to you? Or do you think it shouldn't matter? It doesn't matter. Because I feel like we should start there first.
That was such a loaded question. Can we break it down, please?
It is.
Break it down.
You said it depends on the situation. Like once you hit it for like 25, then dating up, you know, is fine. If you're dating down, I feel like you shouldn't go no lower than 21. Because what else can you do with somebody that's 20? They can't even, because let's be real, a lot of y'all like to drink. So what can you do with somebody under 21 besides sneaking and possibly getting in trouble? That's a risk. That's stupid. But
that's true.
Younger, like if you're in your teens and stuff, stick to your teens. If you are 13 and your parents allow you to date, that depends on your parents. When you hit like 15, you can date up to 18. To me, that's absolute max. If they still in school, like again, it depends because you got 18-year-olds who are still in high school, like they're still practically babies. And then you have those 18-year-olds who are kind of grown.
Right. Like, they know a whole lot more.
I feel like between 18 and 21 is like a gray area. Like they should stick right there in that area. They shouldn't be dating any more than 21. They shouldn't be dating any lower than 18. It's like it all depends on certain circumstances, but for the majority, for the most part, I feel like, when you're under your parents' roof, that depends on, how they raise you, what they do. But overall, you shouldn't be dating no more than 2 or 3 years over you. And for the most part, nothing under you, depending on what your age is. If you 15, ain't no reason you should be talking to a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
14, maybe. Maybe. It's a big maybe to me. Age is a huge thing.
I think you should stay in your age group right there.
Right. It's like if you 13 and your parents allowing you to date 13, 14. Like that's pretty much it. That's all you got.
Right.
15 and up, 15 to maybe 18 is pushing it. 18 to 21, right there. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. 21 to 25. Once you hit 25, you probably start dating up, but it's kind of iffy.
I kind of feel like when you 25, it's your business.
Yeah. As long as you ain't going under 21, that's up to you.
Right.
For me, it depends on the maturity of your child. If we're starting off with that part, you got to know but you got to be honest with yourself too. Like forbidding your child from dating is just not healthy. It's not realistic. It's not healthy. No, you cannot have a boyfriend. But they're gonna have a boyfriend. You're just not gonna know about it.
The more you say no, the more they're gonna do it.
Putting guidelines around it is okay, but for me, like 14, 15, 16 is around the age, like when you start high school. Because middle school, is really school. High school is when you start getting ready for real life. So you're gonna have to balance those classes along with balance relationship, and you want to teach them how to have that balance. Hey, can you have a girlfriend and still pass this test? Because that's the real life thing. You got to learn how to have that balance. Now, when it gets to the older ages, as far as like when you're an adult, I feel like a lot of things are weird. Like 8-year age gap is getting borderline on weird to me. I don't care if you are 35 and the person is 25.
Yeah, that is weird.
It's like, like it used to not matter to me, but the older I've gotten, the more I feel differently. Because when I was 18, I was with a 28-year-old. 19, I was with a 28-year-old. So I didn't see what was wrong with it then, but now looking back, I'm like, they shouldn't have been talking to me.
That's real.
But I mean, you should be able to do whatever you want, but you got to think about it. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you dating that far younger than you or that far older than you? There has to be something going on.
Most of the time, when it's older, it's for money.
A lot of people say, well, it's a maturity thing too, or whatever. The guys are more mature. Like,
no, they're not.
If he's way more, then if that's the case, he's way more mature than you are.
If he's more mature, then why he not talking to somebody his age?
I think 4 years either direction once you get past your 30s. 4 or 5 years either direction.
Oh, shit. I was about to be the same. Okay, I was about to say the same thing. I was gonna say 5, but it's around the same. Yeah. Hey, if we're speaking on, I just even feel gross just talking about kids dating, but it's like, okay, fine. For the topic at hand, if we're going to be realistic, stay in your school range. Like, if you were middle school and you're doing, because we may think that we have these like fake, I'll put heavy quotes, relationships. Stay in your school range. You in 8th grade, you stay in the 8th grade, and you talk to people in the 8th grade. Ain't no way, ain't no reason why you're an 8th grader dating a 9th grader or reverse. That's weird. I don't care if it's just a year. Stay in your school range.
If you're in high school, all right, you got them 4 years. Except if you're at the very top, then it's like, so that becomes a little tricky. But stay in your school range. Ain't no reason why you should be out here. No. Because let's be realistic. We say like, oh, even as we were approaching that age, it's like, well, I'm an adult. 18 is a legal adult. Like, nobody should be waiting for someone to turn 18 simply because they want to date them. That's gross. You need to really delve deep into why you are waiting. Like, that's just the cusp. Let's think mentally of an 18-year-old. You still don't know shit. You don't know anything, and you want to date that? As I said, stay in your school range. Hey, yo, you in high school and you're 18, you stay in your, don't go too far now. 10th grade, I guess. That's the minimum for you, the line. But nobody outside of high school should be waiting for someone to turn of age. That's fucking gross.
That's weird.
Because, like, now that we're bringing that up, that whole bad baby thing was so weird. It's gross and it's weird. Like, it's like salad.
She made billions of dollars off of them
in a day. She shut down OnlyFans in a day. Come on. Like, that's gross.
Oh,
that means y'all were looking at this young child.
I just want to know who was signing up. Do they got names? Why they didn't put a list out?
Yo, chill.
I want to know who was signing up so I can stay away
from them. You already know the demographic sign. This fucking weirdo old man. Like, ugh. Yuck. Waiting for this cash me outside girl to fucking turn. Oh, gross. Come on now. But
that means they was all waiting. They couldn't wait to jump on it, and a lot of people are waiting. Only reason they're waiting is because the law says so.
Yep.
Yeah, that's gross.
It'll be so many people. You will see so many more people dating younger if that wasn't against the law. People will pretend. If people will pretend and be like, oh, I wouldn't, whatever. They make the little joke. I ain't about to serve no jail time for you or whatever. So you saying if you wouldn't go to jail, you would talk to me? I've seen it happen on TikTok.
Ugh.
Most people literally go to other countries because they have a lower age of consent to do shit like that.
It was this 15-year-old girl, and she used to do a live, and she used to like talk to different people, and I think she used to tell them her age, and they would try to talk to her. I'm like,
yuck.
I think
weird.
Was she black?
Yep.
I think I saw that one because I saw like she used to post like videos or whatever, and she had a whole thing. Guys, I'm only 15. I looked at the comments, and there's a whole bunch of guys like literally up in there. I can't wait till you turn 18.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up? I don't care about no age.
It was weird.
I was just like, what?
It was so weird, bro.
Where's Chris Hansen when you need him?
Yo.
But I'm gonna mess y'all up a little bit. I started it when I was 12, and the first person seriously, because of course you had little boyfriends and stuff, and if I'm being real, we talking about like when we was having the little boyfriends, I probably was like 6, 7 with my little boyfriends or whatever. But my mama didn't used to let me talk to boys on the phone until I got a little older. If they did call me when I was younger, it had to be about classwork. If it wasn't, she wasn't letting me talk to them. But at the same time, I remember talking to niggas. But I think I was like, I was like in middle school by then. I was like, 11, 12, that age, around that age. So, but I started dating when I was 12, and my ex was a year older than me. So I was in middle school, he was in junior high. When I went to junior high, he was in high school. So he was ahead of me, but it was only a year. I thought he was a lot older because it just seemed like that. For whatever reason, my memories make me think. And like when I say date, he probably was the only person that I actually date. I'm talking about like taking me out places, of course chaperoned, but we would like go to the movies and stuff like that. She would let me go on dates, but I feel like she did it because I was mature. She knew I wasn't gonna do nothing. She knew I wasn't gonna do nothing crazy or whatever. But yeah. So since then I've been dating since I was 12. Okay, so this long break that I have in between my last relationship and now is needed because I have literally been in relationships. And of course, we don't count the ones from school. I'll say high school counts, but the ones before that is just, but I've been in relationships since I was that old. So, being single feels great because I was always with somebody. But I agree with Van. I agree with most of what she said. Like, I feel like if your kids are I do think that you should allow your kids to date each other kids, of course, and not too old or whatever. Because I feel like how are you gonna learn if you don't do it? I feel like you should create an environment where they can date safely and you monitor it.
Exactly.
Because you can't expect them to never date. They turn 18 and you expect them to know how to be in a relationship, and now you putting pressure on them to be in a relationship when they didn't know how. They never dated, so they don't know what they're doing. But I feel like you should allow them to date other kids their age. Like Shaya said, stay in your grade. If you're 12, date 12-year-olds. If you're 13, date 13-year-olds, and not go up. And Van said when you get to high school, I feel like freshmen are off limits to each other. Freshmen should be off limits to seniors and juniors. Because high school is a different environment. You're 3-4 years ahead of them. You already kind of got this figured out. And you can be impressionable. They are impressionable. You can influence them to do certain things. And peer pressure is real. I sat back and watched people do a lot of things out of peer pressure. It's real. And a lot of kids do stuff to fit in because they feel like they have to or nobody is gonna like them. So I feel like because of that reason, like when seniors used to try to talk to me, I used to curve them because it's like you're too old for me. Like, why are you trying to talk to me? I'm a freshman. I'm new. I'm a freshman. So you think, oh, I'm trying to get her first. And it at some point felt like they had a bet on me. A few different groups of guys, it felt like that. And it's a lot to deal with while you're in school. But I do feel like you should allow your kids, at least in high school, so they'll know, like Royal said, so they'll know how to balance it. That's a good environment for you to test to see, or for you to prepare them, for you to let them practice to see how to balance relationships and their work, because that translates over to adult life when you have to balance your relationships with your career and all of that other stuff. Because I feel like because people weren't really, parents weren't really instrumental in their kids dating when we were in high school. We don't know how to balance. You give your all. A lot of the times we give your all to that relationship and you don't really know how to balance it with everything else. And I feel like high school is the perfect environment to teach your kids how to do that. So when they become older, they'll know. A lot of us we get out of school, we get into these serious relationships where we become adults and we make our lives all about this person. And then when we break up with them, now we got to figure out us again, because we don't know how to do that. And I think that's something that needs to be taught. What else? As far as when you become an adult, I agree with Van's scale. Royal too. I think 10 years is a lot. 5, I'll say 5. I'll even give you 6, depending on the people. But after that, you do need to start questioning yourself, like, why am I dating somebody 10 years younger than me? Like, what can they give you for real? Or 10 years older too. You need to be questioning why you date 10 years older. And like I said, we already know why they mostly do it now, because it's the sugar baby culture, the sugar daddy, the trick culture, the prostitution, because that's really what it is.
You know what I find funny? Our parents are examples of what not to do.
They are.
Yeah, because my dad was 9 years, almost 10 years older than my mom.
Yeah, my mom was 14. My dad was 18. She got pregnant when she was 15, I think. Yeah, because I think she turned 16 a couple of weeks after she had me. That means he was 20. That's a little weird.
That's was loud.
When you say I've been trying to get them to admit that something was wrong with that, and they will not do it. It's my mama like, I wasn't your typical so if I was 16 and I was talking to a 20-year-old that got me pregnant, would you feel like that?
Some mama legit will keep that same narrative, because I've seen it firsthand. Like this woman who
she
was
wouldn't.
like legit pushing her daughter to date like this 40-year-old guy, and like when they finally did start dating and got married, she was perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, because back in their day, it was cool. They saw nothing wrong with that, but my mama wouldn't have. She wouldn't have liked that. My daddy neither. Neither one of them would have liked it.
It was much more normalized back then, but it was for my dad, like it was extra weird for me thinking about that. Like my mom was fresh out of high school, and you were established in the military already. You had done what I think it was 3 or 4 years at that time in the military. You were well removed from high school. My mom was fresh out. Like
it's okay when they do it. It's a problem when you do it.
Right. Because I know if I would have came home and told my mama that I was pregnant for a 20-year-old, she would have been pissed at me. And I know she would she have kicked me out? Would she have hit me? No. I would have had a long lecture. She would have gave me the silent treatment, because this is how we fight. If she do that, we'll go back and forth for a little bit. And then because you ain't about to, you ain't gonna win this with me, because I'm gonna give it right back to you. But we would have went back and forth. Then she would have given me the silent treatment for a little while. Like, I'm not talking to you, which is a little manipulative. It is. But
do you have a story time segment today?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so I'll save that for then.
I do. But yeah, I agree with Van, and I agree with Van Scale. I agree with what everybody said. Like for what Shaya said, for like the grade school, I feel like you should stay in your grade. What Van said, the age when it comes to when you get older, I do feel like going over 5 years, I'll give you 6, but going over 5 years, a lot. It's a lot. And I ain't gonna lie, I recently just changed my opinion when it came to that. And I'm gonna tell y'all how. And when I say recently, I'm saying recent. I'm talking about recent. Me and Van talked about this one day. It's because when I became friends with Royal, the old Boonie would have never, if I would have known how old Royal was before, I wouldn't have wanted to be friends with him, because I felt like, and he ain't no but 3 years older than me, because I'm finna be 33. Oh, 4 years older than me, yeah, because you about to turn, yeah. I try not to say it, but yeah, like if I had known, I probably wouldn't have been as open, because I have this mindset of I only want to talk to people my age. Like I don't really want to talk to people that is younger or older. So even when people like in their late 20s try to talk to me, and even if it's on a friendly level, I'm just like, But because of that, because of the exchange that we had, it opened my mind. So I'm more open-minded about it. And recently I've changed that. But if you would have asked me this a year ago, I would have been like, I feel like you should date people your age like forever. It should just be, if you 30, you should date 30. If you 31, you should date 31. That's how I felt. That's how I used to feel. Because I feel like things can get tricky when you go up or down. We know, especially between men and women, and not just men and women, because even when you're dating your same sex, there's always going to be that power struggle, and that person that is younger has the disadvantage because the person that is older, they have experienced more life, and they know how to manipulate you in a way sometimes you don't even realize is happening. So it's tricky. So that's why I used to feel like that, because I've never, aside from me dating my boyfriend that was a year older than me, I've never dated nobody that was and my ex, because my ex, both of them, the last two, and I'm putting them together because they the same person to me. The last two was 2 years older than me. That's the oldest I've ever gone. And I've never dated somebody younger than me. Like, yeah. But I've adjusted it. Would I date somebody 5 years younger than me? I don't know. It has to be something about you for me to do that. I have to think that you're my soulmate for me to do that. Because that's hard. Like I have to really think that God was like,
be special.
God gotta be like, that's the word right there for me to be like, all right, I'll date him or her or whoever, them. But moving on to the next segment, which is the hear me out segment. What age do you consider grown or mature?
That's really hard for me because as much as we want to put an age on it, it really isn't an age on maturity and stuff like that. Like you would
But what about grown?
Yeah, well, grown, the same thing to me. Like you
think
put an age
being
on
grown and being mature is the same thing?
To me, yeah. It's a
Okay.
state of maturity. It's a level that you have to reach. And some people can be 25 and not be there yet. They don't have the critical thinking skills it requires to do that.
For me, as I get older, even the ages, even where I was at an age where I thought like, damn, I knew that, or I know this, or I'm capable. Now that I'm like far removed from those ages, I'm like, what the fuck was I? Girl, 25, like if the moment someone says the age 25 to me, in my brain of brains, I'm like, that's a child.
Yeah, like you're a baby. That's my first thought.
Get away from me. Ew. Like, so it's like I can't answer that because as I get older, I'm just like the older I get, those ages seem more ridiculously immature and gross.
They do.
But if I had to put a round number on it, you said mature. I need to define what mature means for like because people are ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel like all of us. I feel like some of us have some maturity and some immaturity. Well, not really. I feel like being childlike is immature.
That's not, yeah, no.
So I take that back.
Right. If I had to put a number, 23. Even still, I feel gross about saying it, but if for the sake of remembering how I was at that age, yeah, I'm gonna say that. I am. I'm not going to go lower than that because that is ill. But go ahead.
What about you, Van?
For me, I know I used to say you are grown once you are paying bills that's in your name, like just paying bills, you know, that is
Forgot about
responsibility
that. Yep.
in your name, then it's not actually yours, and anybody else can take up that responsibility at any time. I used to say that, but now it's like, it kind of like what Shay is.
Because the 18-year-olds,
23, it's like, all right, you grown, but it's like levels to it. It also depends on your maturity level, because you got grown, overgrown, supposedly grown people who are still 15 in the head. So
Right.
you be telling them 18-year-olds, if it's bill paying, I pay my own bills.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I used to say. Is like, because for me, I didn't consider myself grown until I moved out and had bills in my name. Like, I had my car, my apartment, you know, I had a job. I felt like that is when I was grown, because I was still living at home with my mama. I was helping her pay bills. I did have a car, I did have a job, but I didn't have shit else. Like, I felt like I didn't have shit else. So anytime somebody be like, you grown? No, I'm not. I'm still at home with my mama. I'm not grown yet. So once I got out, then I was like, all right, now, yes, I'm mature, but now I'm grown. But now that I'm overgrown, it's like, it depends on your maturity. Because especially in these times, a lot of people literally cannot afford to get out of their parents' house. So that shouldn't be something held against them to say that they're not grown. They are grown. They're just struggling like the rest of us. But it depends on how they're handling their relationship in that house with, you know, whoever they're with, roommates, parents, whatever. It's all about the mentality now. It's, if you are mentally mature and you're 23 and up, yeah, you're grown. 21, you're old enough to drink. 22 is around the age you start partying a lot more for most people. Some started when they were 15, but we ain't gonna talk about that. You start partying and just doing shit, you know, just doing shit just to be doing shit when you like 21, 22, and then 23, you know, stuff start coming. So I say about 23-ish in mentality. It's like, it's like it's layers. You gotta have both.
Gotcha. I feel like 25. Because 23, to me, you still a baby. Even at 25, to me, you still a baby. And I also think that it's when you have agency over yourself, complete agency, regardless of where you are, whether you still in your parents' house or whatever, when you're in control of what you're able to do, what you're capable of, what you believe, your choices, when nobody is thinking for you, when you've come into yourself as an adult, and you take your life into your own hands, and you have agency over yourself, I feel like that's when you're grown. Because I feel like you can have your own house, and you can be paying bills and all of that other stuff, but then when it comes to like what you believe, what you think, the things that you do because of those things, how you carry yourself around people, who you are around people, how secure you are in yourself. A lot of the times in your 20s, because I feel like in your 20s is the age of proving that you're an adult. Everybody is rushing to be grown. I'm grown. I'm an adult. I pay bills. I got my own car. I got a job. I have kids. So I'm an adult. It's this rush, and you trying to prove it all the time. But I still don't feel like that makes you an adult. I feel like when you have complete agency over yourself, when you can make decisions without worrying about how other people gonna feel about it, to me, is when you're truly grown. But when it comes to age, I'll say 20, 25.
They say your brain's not even fully formed until then anyway, till 25.
Yeah.
But being grown in maturity, like I said, it's really not it's hard to say, like, we will hope people to get to that point, but there's people that we all know that are in their 30s and 40s that are not grown yet. They still have that kid mindset. That's the person that has 10 evictions on their thing. They paying their own bills. Everything's in their name, but they're not responsible.
Extremely irresponsible.
Exactly. That's why I say when she said that, I was like, yeah, because an 18-year-old in a heartbeat, when you reject them, I pay my own bills. Like, what does that have to do with anything? That ain't got nothing to do with me that you pay bills. It ain't just about money. It ain't just about what you're able to do for yourself financially. It's about when we come together in this relationship and we got to make decisions. Are you able to make decisions with a person without being selfish? Because I feel like selfishness is a sign of immaturity, self-centeredness, thinking that the world revolves around you. That's a sign of immaturity, because it doesn't. You have to consider other people. So if you're not able to do that, but you can pay your own bills, you're still worthless to me. Like, what am I going to do with you? You're not, I don't want to be with somebody that I have to guide. I have to make decisions for you. I have to tell you how to do this and how to do that and what you probably should have done and what would have been best. I don't want to deal with that. So that's why I don't date younger. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to have conversations with you about something and you're getting mad because we're having a conversation, or because I have an issue, because you're too immature to understand why this is a problem. That's what's important.
Especially if they're if you're emotionally immature specifically.
Yes.
Like, I can't have a discussion with you simply because, like, okay, so I'll give an example. Back when I was in high school, early 20s, I couldn't fathom being in a relationship with someone and disagreeing with them. Like, how do people do it? Right. Oh man, like, y'all really don't think the same thing and y'all can stay together. My brain was like blown. But like, yes, you can disagree. You can have arguments, or discussions, and come to an agreement that y'all not going to agree.
Right.
100%.
And it still be okay. Like, if I'm talking to you and you're just like, oh, well, fuck this, and then you just run off, bruh.
Can't do it. I'm not baby. That's, to me, babysitting.
All right, go ahead, run off.
And I ain't babysitting your emotions. I'm not being responsible for how you feel.
How you can't.
I'm not.
You can't carry the weight of two people. I gotta balance my own shit, then I gotta balance yours too.
Exactly.
Nah, I'm sorry, no.
If you're not mature enough to sit there and have a real conversation about the feelings and hear each other out and not yelling over each other and not trying to,
not doing that petty bullshit either.
To me, that's not grown. You can move however you want to move in the world, but when it's time to really handle something and you don't know how to do that, that inner child is screaming because you ain't dealt with your issues. So
if you haven't gotten your way.
Exactly. Because a lot of people be stuck in that. My parents, that thing where your parents used to tell you, you can't do this, you can't do that. And so when you become an adult, nobody can tell you anything because you never had the choice when you were a kid. So now that you're an adult, you're making up for that. So you don't listen to nobody. Nobody
now I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, I can do what I want. There's no, that to me, you're a child. You're a 16-years old, and I'm not dealing with it. Like, I'm not.
I think this applies to relationships and like regular relationships and like work relationships, being in any environment with somebody you like. If you can come up to somebody and say, hey, this bothers me, and then your first reaction is, I don't give, like you start arguing or getting offended instead of analyzing, hey, I didn't notice I did that, I'm sorry, which is, you can easily end the situation that fast if you think about it for a second. I didn't realize I did that, I'm sorry. You know what? I'll be cognizant of it next time and not do that.
Right.
It don't take much. It don't take anything out of you to do that.
Right. But people feel like standing their ground is more important. You're not going to tell me no. You're not going to tell me no because you're so stuck in that child mindset where your parents always told you, made your decisions for you.
But it's interesting because they are correct. No one can tell them nothing.
That's true.
But you have to deal with the repercussions of you feeling that way. So if you feel that way, that nobody can tell you shit, and everybody's removing themselves from your life, you can't go around and be like, oh my God, ain't no real ones out here. Real ones, you literally couldn't do anything. Like no one could tell
with the
you
real
anything.
Ones. You couldn't deal with them.
Facts. No one could talk to you, so they left, and now you got to deal with that. Like, so yeah,
exactly.
Just talking about AIDS, I'm just like,
that really comes down to boundaries for me. Like, you're right, nobody can tell you what to do, but that's my boundary. So you know what?
Exactly.
Just like that, just like you have the full autonomy to do what you want to do, I do too.
And that's the important thing too. You individually are not the only one who can do what you want to do. We both can do what we want to do. Remember that.
Exactly.
Remember that I can't tell you nothing, but I also can leave you because I ain't dealing with that.
Right.
I'm choosing to come talk this out with you. I didn't have to.
Exactly. Exactly. But so you people, it's something else that I wanted to say about that. Oh yeah, but that I can save it for story time, but I remember it. But if y'all don't have anything else to add, we can move on to the Let's Fix It segment. How do we combat? I said the pedophilia in our community, but I feel like it's beyond that. It's beyond just pedophiles because I feel like that kind of reduces it to sex. And I feel like we can touch on that differently, but since it's a problem, we could talk about that as well. How do we deal with it?
I feel like you phrased it right. I feel like you phrased it right because see, now I got to break down what that is. Ugh, it's still so it's so gross. But their attraction is pedophilia is not specifically just about a sexual attraction. They have hear me out, y'all. Don't shoot the messenger.
Oh no, you good.
But I think I know where you're going with this. I'm with it.
Nah, because I'm based off of what I hear and the media that I consume. When a pedophile talks about their attraction to children, it goes to a sense of innocence and a sense of like whimsy and wonder and whatever the hell. But so I don't think that's like, I think that leads to the sexual attraction, but that's not that within itself doesn't have to be sexual. But yeah, that's I'm just saying that you worded it perfectly. We may proceed. Whoever wants to go first. Because
but the reason why I said that because that's usually where it goes. Like even though that's it usually is about, it usually goes to sex. It usually is reduced to sex. But I do feel like it's deeper than that.
I feel like it starts with stop sexualizing children.
For people in general.
In media, we see this a lot, and it was pushed to us a whole lot growing up, and it's still being pushed by like these boy bands and stuff. They did it on purpose, but it's also a power thing. Like when Seye was talking about how people, like they see the kids as whimsical, wonder, all of that. It's a power thing, so they want to have that power thing over. So you
take advantage of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they want to take advantage of somebody. So you got to start questioning these people. We combat it by calling it out. I think we combat it by calling these people out. It's weird that you sit there and say this weird comment about a child. Well, he's just gonna be a heartbreaker. It's weird to say that because you're saying that you think that child is attractive.
Again, Royal, please.
Or my little boyfriend. Look at my husband. He's so fine. He's so fine. Look at my husband. But like,
right.
It's acceptable when it's that. When it's a woman saying it about a little boy, it's acceptable. But if a man would say it, we would be all over him. And
over him.
It needs to be the same across the board.
Like, to feed into that, all right, growing up, it wasn't, when you're a girl and you're obviously, you can't help what happens to you as far as like puberty. So, but when you hear things, no one tells the boys go put a shirt on.
Right.
No one tells the boys, hey, stop walking around in your boxes. Somebody gonna look at you. No one says that. But the moment I'm wearing shorts, oh no, I go put some more clothes on. Your uncle's coming over. Like, why are they looking? Who's looking?
Exactly.
What? That's fucking weird. Why are you telling me this? How about if you really had a concern, you speak to them niggas?
Right.
That's weird. You gonna tell me I gotta put more clothes on? I'm in my house.
My mama
They're
didn't
coming
play
over
that
to my house.
My mama didn't play that. She ain't putting on nothing.
It's so much normalized in our communities that I had to break myself of that too. Like, why do I care what this girl has on? Because it's not, because for me it wasn't bothering me, but I'm like, well, a girl's supposed to dress a certain way, but I'm realizing it now because you're worried about somebody else looking. You need to worry about the people that are looking, not the girl, the people that are looking. And I realized it when my daughter, she had told me that her sister, she went to stay with her sister for a little bit, and she said her sister's boyfriend got uncomfortable because of some shorts she was wearing. And
okay, then look
like,
the other
way. She told me that, you know, it's the shorts that I wear around the house all the time. And it clicked to me right then, like, you're my daughter. It didn't matter to me what you wore around the house because you were in the house, you were comfortable. I don't care what you wear.
Right.
So why does he care? He was looking at you like that. And so he would, in order to try to combat his little feelings that he was having by looking at you, he told your sister to tell you that was that made him feel uncomfortable. And I gotta start questioning people. Why does certain things make you feel uncomfortable? Even where I'm at now, I'm told me we're having my shirt off and make you feel uncomfortable. Why does it make you feel uncomfortable?
Yeah, because if somebody came to me and was like, tell your sister to do whatever, it making me feel uncomfortable. I'm like, why? I'm gonna be like, why? Because I had a situation where my ex and something he told me about my sister, and I went like, I tore him up. But I agree with Royal. I feel like calling it out. Stop protecting these people. Why are y'all protecting these people? I really don't understand it. I don't understand where that came from and like why. And a lot of times they don't even be like the person in the family that's gonna really do something with themselves. It's never really somebody like that. It just be some random person that y'all just be protecting. Like, it's weird.
They gotta admit to themselves that their family member ain't shit, and they don't want to do that. No one wants to call
that's out easy. That's easy for me.
Oh yeah, no problem. No problem.
Like, what you talking about?
And
he like to do what? Get him out of here, please.
Exactly. That's the thing. We gotta start. We gotta start not allowing them to come over. If you are uncomfortable when Uncle such and such comes around, but you want to make your daughter put clothes on, don't let him come over.
But at the same time, the don't let them come over is a problem too. Because it needs to be addressed specifically to that person. And I want to ask you, why are you uncomfortable? Why are you looking? What is it about this? Because just pushing them to the side isn't solving the problem.
Do you think that having that conversation with them will bear any fruit though? Do you think it'll
because I feel like a lot of the things that we think is weird and the weird little crazy the stuff that we don't agree with when it comes to sex specifically, because that's usually where it goes. I think a lot of things come from repressed emotions, and I feel like it builds up. And nobody's addressing it. You're not talking about it. Nobody's questioning this person why they feel this type of way. They're not questioning themselves. Instead of breaking it down, self-assessment, and dang, why do I feel like this? Like, what is it? Whatever. Instead of doing that, is I just want to get it out my face, and then it builds up. It keeps happening. It's building up inside of you, and then you act on it. And I feel like a lot of that stuff comes from repressed emotions, from making sex seem like this, or making everything seem like negative, like making it such a big deal. The same way I feel about bodies, sexualizing bodies is weird to me because it's just a body. We all have them. Why do we put that pressure on it?
Do you think confronting someone's repressed feelings like that though will change?
Do I think it's gonna cure them? No, but I think that's a start.
So you think like you basically talking about like laying the seeds for them to actually start thinking about it.
For them to start thinking about it. Like, why do I feel like this? What happened in my life that made me feel like this? Or where does this feeling come from? Because I think sometimes it happens naturally. Sometimes people don't even have anything happen to them for them to feel like this, but it's never questioned. It's really just, they nasty type of thing, push them to the side, or they wouldn't do that. They would never do that. And nobody is talking about what's actually happening. Like those feelings that they're actually having. And I feel like repressed feelings, just like repressed emotions, repressed feelings, especially sexually, it comes out eventually when you keep ignoring it. And I feel like it's a start. Do I think it's going to cure it? No, because if we don't have a solution for that, I feel like we have to find a solution for that for it to change.
Sometimes I don't feel like
sometimes they're not.
There might not be a solution for some of those people because it's so ingrained in them that they're gonna feel uncomfortable regardless.
Sometimes I think there's not, but the same thing when it comes to narcissistic people. We've talked about how a lot of therapists won't see them, but at the same time, it's up to that person to acknowledge that they're narcissistic and say, hey, I don't want to be like this. Or people who have mental illnesses that do certain things, people who are psychopaths and stuff, for them to acknowledge, hey, I don't want to be like this. How do I change it? And for them to work against it. Does it cure them? No. However, when they are aware of it and when they have decided that this is something that they don't want to do, they can work toward fixing it. Can we? No, they can.
Right.
But that will never happen if we keep treating it like, oh, we gotta push them to the side because this happened. Because it doesn't solve nothing. It just, now you're shaming them even more. I'm 100% sure that most people, those first thoughts made them ashamed of themselves. And then you shame them more when you like, you nasty, you need to get out of here type of thing. And then at some point, when that shame turns into, when you got to deal with yourself, the easiest thing to do is accept it and be like, well, I'm nasty. I'm nasty. I'm a weirdo. I'm gonna just be nasty. I'm gonna be a weirdo. Just like people, niggas who street niggas. I'm a killer. I'm gonna just kill people. I'm gonna just be a killer.
I just watched a video on YouTube. This guy, he's a self-proclaimed narcissist. Well, he's diagnosed as a narcissist and a psychopath, and he makes videos helping people find, and acknowledge how to defeat the narcissist in their life. And so I think becoming aware of what's going on with yourself is a lot, but a lot of people are afraid to become self-aware because they're afraid of what's there.
Yeah, but a lot of it, I feel like that comes from people making them too. It comes from people making them feel like something is wrong with you. We talked about when it comes to mental illness, like we had that conversation with Erica. Even situations like that fear that you place, that fear that you have about something that they may do to you, that fear goes to them too. They're afraid of themselves too.
So the question is, when we get to that point with those people, like the point of change, like, I mean, like when they start acknowledging that, like, how do we, I'm trying to think of how to say it, like, how do we have this, how do we even start those conversations though? Because people's first thing is to get defensive.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you like why you feel like that first. That's always gonna be. That's my question for everything. When anybody say anything to me, why you feel like that? That make you if you want her to put on some clothes. Why? Does it bother you? Why does it bother you?
You gotta
analyze
deeper though, because usually it's gonna be like, well, that's the way I grew up.
Because even if they're defensive, they gonna still think about what you asked them later on. At least that's what I think. I feel like they gonna still think about it, even if it's like what you mean, like, or like you said, that's how I grew up, or this is just how things are. But no, it's not. Who said that?
You got to ask the question why after that, because if it's just the way you grew up, well, why are you still doing it now? Why do you still feel that way now? Because you don't have to live that. You don't have to think that way just because your mama did.
Exactly. Keep questioning them. That's what I do that with all y'all. I do that with every single body that comes to me with an issue. I'm gonna keep asking you questions, and I know a lot of the times I know why. I'm just trying to get you to figure it out on your own. I ain't about to sit because I feel like if I say, "Hey, I think that this is why you do this," you probably won't be receptive. But if I keep asking you questions and you keep thinking about it yourself and you're answering it for yourself, you'll be more receptive of it.
The way that you ask the questions, though, I feel like is very respectful.
Yeah, you have to be.
It's really out of inquisitiveness instead of like, because you can ask a question in an accusatory tone.
Right, and that's what I was about to say. You just have to not judge them. You have to not come at them judgy, because even though they have these issues, they're still people at the end of the day, and some of them cannot help it. So you have to address it in that way, rather than making them feel like something is wrong with them. Yeah, it's not right for them to feel the way that they feel, but at the end of the day, that's still a human being behind that feeling, and that stems from somewhere. So that to me is the only reason where people do that. I mean, the only way where people do that. I will, but I'm only one person. I can't ask every single person questions until they figure things out myself. I'm only one person. Because I'm gonna ask. I'm not about to just let you give me no answer. No little answer for nothing. But yeah, I feel like that's a start. I feel like to combat it, question it, like you said, call people out, and also question them specifically, not just, I'm calling them out that something is wrong with you for that or whatever. And you kind of have to choose your words wisely too because I feel like pedophilia should be a mental illness. It should be treated like a mental illness. The same with people who rape people. It should be treated like an illness because it is. It's not a something that should be that you should be doing. So it should be treated like that. And I don't understand after all of these years of this happening why it's not. Like, I don't get it. You send them to jail, and nothing happens in there.
True.
Depending on the location, they do get some form of I don't want to say therapy because it's not really something to help them through it. It's more of a study to see what goes through people like that.
And that's the problem. Because humans care more about studies and being able to answer questions, but you don't really care about that person specifically. Like,
the problem comes in when those people have not done any form of treatment at all. They did 10 years in prison, and then you release them to the streets and you expect the behavior to be different.
And you never know what's happening to them in prison. The same thing they're doing probably is happening to them. How is that going to make them stop? It's going to make it worse.
If you look at cases like Jeffrey Dahmer, like he went to prison for that. He went to jail for a little bit. Only thing that made him do was become a murderer more after that, because he decided, you know what? I don't want to go to jail for this. So instead of just raping the person, I'm going to kill them so they can't go tell on me.
Yeah. it doesn't solve anything, and it just keeps getting worse, and then we just keep pushing it under the rug. So it's not. And I feel like, yeah, they did something that was wrong, but I feel like we have this have this issue. Like, I could see something being bad or wrong, and I try not to really even judge it like that. I could see somebody doing something, but instead of being like, oh, that's a bad person, I'm gonna stay away from them, I'm curious, why did they do that? Like, what makes a person want to kill somebody just randomly? What makes a person want to, and not in a I want to study them type of way, but in a, can we solve this? If this can be solved, what can we do to solve this so we can stop it from happening?
I feel like a lot of these problems can be solved somewhat, but there's just some people that are beyond.
Yeah, I do think there's some people beyond help.
But a lot of these people things can be prevented, especially when it comes to this.
And it has to be people who actually want to change it. Because I feel like if they don't, then nothing you can do. But I feel like, can we change them? No, but they can change themselves if they're able to do that assessment and then decide, I don't want to do this. Like, this is wrong. They're right. This is wrong. I don't want to do this. I don't want to feel like this. What can I do to change? And I've seen on YouTube this, like, people who interview people who have different issues and stuff like that, and people who are actually living with, like, psychopaths and stuff like that, who are actually living normal lives, but they're aware of it and they're trying to fight against it. So it's possible. It's just they gotta want it. They gotta want it too. It can't just be us wanting them to change. They have to also want to change. And like you said, there are people who are too far gone. Now, those people should be put in the corner. But I feel like the help should come first. Trying to help them should come first. And then when you realize you can't, then push them in the corner. Because you got to protect the majority.
But I think overall it really matters how much we want to change ourselves.
It does.
Our way of thinking, because I had to change my way of thinking, especially when I had foster kids, and I had 3 girls, and that was a challenge for me because I was raised to think a certain way that girls are not supposed to be certain things. I had to question myself so much, and I think I changed a whole lot. That where I'm so more understanding now and different, because I remember I saw the girls standing outside and they were doing dances. They were twerking, dancing, whatever. And my first instinct is I saw them on the camera doing it, and I'm like, but then I thought about it. I'm like, this stuff comes from our homeland. Like, we were dancing like this. Why did it bother me though? Why did it bother me?
Babies be coming out of vagina twerking.
Yeah, so I'm like, why does it bother me? It does, and you know what? It didn't bother me. So I went out there and be like, I'm glad y'all girls having a good time, because I saw the looks on all their faces, and when I wasn't out there, they smiled. They were smiling and happy. But then when I came out there, they all
they freeze.
And I'm like, I'm like, you know what? Y'all not go have fun. I'm just checking on you.
Right. But that's good though. But the majority of people, because you know what, I feel like human beings' biggest, like, flaw, the way that the blasphemy against God that y'all claim, that y'all believe in, and that y'all serve. He created you with the ability to evolve, which means you're supposed to change. That's literally like something that happens automatically. So a person who doesn't, you're literally going against what you were created to do. You're literally refusing to do what you were created to do. That's blasphemous to me.
Damn, y'all still stuck in this time.
Yeah, it's crazy. That to me is if I was a god, the worst thing that you could do. That's offensive. Like, dang, y'all don't even want to change.
Antiquated way of thinking.
Right.
We just in here like unevolved Pokemon.
Which is just a whole bunch of, y'all cute and everything, but I'm gonna need y'all to do something else. This is boring. But I think it's a huge flaw. That the fact that a lot of people don't want to change, and the power struggle, and it's a lot of stuff. I ain't about to go down the list. But moving on to the new. any Van, do you have anything to add? Because I don't know if you said anything.
Oh no, we can keep going.
Okay. Seye, how about you?
I was just listening. I was having a nice time listening. We can continue.
Okay, cool. So moving on to the next segment, which is the story time segment. Do any of you have a story of a time an older person tried to hit on you, or they dated you, and how did you handle it?
Okay, so numerous times there would be catcalling incidents. Now, I lived in high school. I lived relatively close to my school, so I didn't take the bus. I walked. In middle school, I'd get off the bus and just be walking for a little bit because I lived a little bit away from my my bus stop. But either way, grown men driving grown men would stop their car. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, where are you going? I clearly have a backpack on, sir. I'm going home.
Right.
You can't stop for a second. Why should I stop? Do I know you? I mean, you could get to know me, bruh. Sir, have several seats. And it was just it's some of them went from like just that to like I've had an experience where, again, catcalling, whatever, and I'm going home from school. When you're a girl and you get catcalled, you have your different mechanisms that you do to ensure your own safety, or try to ensure your own safety. When you walk home and someone stops their vehicle next to you, oh no, I'm good. I'm my dad's right there, and he's like, yeah, so you can't have no friends, and I'm just like, yeah, so I gotta go home. Like I got homework. My dad's right there. He waiting for me, and he was just like,
you hit him with the sir,
right, exactly. So like,
you can't have no friends.
You can go back home when I'm done talking to you. And I said, yeah, but I really have to get home. Like, my parents could be looking for me. I don't have a cell phone. They could be really worried. Don't worry, I could drop you off. I said, no, that's good. And he noticed me trying to get away. And that's when he decided that he was going to flash his gun at me. Like, bitch, I'm talking to you. We are going to talk, and that's that. And so that's when I was like, oh, you're right. You're so right. Oh my God. How foolish. How foolish of me. Hey, what's going on? You just take my number. Don't call it too late because, it is a house phone. Oh, yeah. Why don't you take mine as well? Oh, no problem. Wrote on a piece of paper, kept it moving.
I ain't gonna lie. He would have had to blow my brains out.
How old were you?
I ran the fuck home, dog. And he was like, even before I got the opportunity to run home, he was insistent. He was like, you don't mind if I drop you off? Like, I could just drop you off. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. Like, it's no problem. I'm right here. I have the car. It's running. I was like, no, I'm good. I don't think my dad would be too happy about some stranger, coming up on his property. And he was like, nah, that's cool. I get it. He was like, but am I going to see where you live at for real? I was like, yeah, whatever. So unfortunately, like, you got to do whatever you got to do. Sorry to these people, but I went to some random person's house and like walked in their backyard. So he thought that was my house. Like,
do what you gotta do for real.
I booked it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. I asked how old did you say you were?
At the time, I was like 14. I just started high school.
Mm.
You gotta wonder how many other people did he try, or the girls did he try that with?
He was not about to take you home.
Oh, of course not. I saw that gun and I perked right the fuck. I was like, excuse me, huh? What? Oh, yeah. Because it's imagine that. I had no cell phone.
I would have been.
I couldn't run home to my house because that's dangerous. I don't want him to see where I live. Right. Like, the things were just, people are fucking crazy.
They are.
Bro, like, sir,
especially
sir,
men,
you were
bro.
really camped out in front
I ain't
of
gonna
somebody.
say especially women crazy too.
Man, people. That's how I'm just like, yo, it's crazy out here. But yeah, nah. He probably went back to that house too. That's unfortunate.
Hopefully ain't been no kids there, because that nigga, he probably was gonna take you right somewhere and never bring you. Your family was never gonna see you again.
No.
Yeah, I would have been dead. He would have had to pull that gun out and blow my brains out. I know it's a Boonie.
He would have had. I would have been dead. Like,
hey, he would have flashed me that gun. I would have been like, whatever you gotta do. But that's not safe, y'all. Don't do that. I'll still do it now too. But don't do that.
Honestly though, if you start questioning them like in that situation and really not, I'm not fucking going with you or whatever, they a lot of times they'll just back up.
Yeah.
If you make us think about it, they're gonna run away. Like,
no, either I'm gonna act like I ain't saw you, but if you persistent to the fact that you trying to block me, and then you gonna flash a gun, I would have been like, whatever you gotta do, because I ain't going nowhere.
Not whatever you gotta do.
Same with them niggas who be your number. They be trying to intimidate you for you. Like, you robbing me for my number, nigga? You tripping. Like, yeah, that's literally what they're doing.
Yes,
they're robbing you for your number. That is crazy.
It's like, give me your number, stick it up. Like, hey, yo, what the fuck? Give me your number. Like,
bro, that's what they're doing, low key. That's literally like that intimidation, them intimidation tactics.
But I don't understand. It can't ever be that serious though. Like, at all. Damn, a number.
And then they be like, because y'all be so mean, y'all be rejecting us. You think that you're entitled to me? You think that I'm supposed to be nice to you? You're entitled to my kindness. I'm supposed to be nice to you, and I'm supposed to give you whatever you want from me. That's crazy.
I never understood the guys that did that. I just never understood why you would go way above and beyond on that, because I was in the field too doing stuff. You know, I would talk to women or whatever. I approach them, but they say no. Okay, have a nice day.
Right.
At the end of the comment, I don't have to go no further. I'm not asking you nothing else. I'm not talking. What else we had to talk about? She said no.
That's what it's supposed to be, but like they'll try to intimidate. Has that ever happened to me? Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't ask me for my number, but I'm gonna hold that no. Unless I want to give you my number. If I don't want to give it to you, But what about you, Royal? You have story time?
So I have two different situations, and it's like opposite ends of the spectrum. I wanted to save it for this, but I had brought up the when I was 18, 19 dating. When I was 19 dating a 28-year-old, The first one I went into detail on the Raw Educator Analysis of Life podcast about it, so I'm not gonna like do the whole thing, but you know about
we'll put it in the description.
Yeah, you remember that though about she had a boyfriend and everything. She was obviously using me, and she knew my age. Now I'm looking back, like when she first started talking to me when I met her in the hospital, I didn't think nothing of it. Mm-hmm. I was not expecting it to go where it went, you know. I'm literally like, and I'm like, I didn't see nothing wrong with it then, you know, that somebody older is approaching me. But I've had several situations where I've had inappropriate things happen with somebody that was older, including one of my mom's friends. We have everywhere it's called Six Flags, but ours in California was called Magic Mountain. Her friend, her name was Danielle. I don't care. You know,
I love how you just keep calling people that. I love it. Put her on blast. Danielle, you should be ashamed of yourself.
It was weird. We were at Six Flags, right? And my mom and my sister were deathly afraid of like the high rides, you know. So I thought it was cool. This, you know, my mom's friend, she had the same surgery my mom had, the gastric bypass. That's how they met. Oh, she said she's gonna get all the rides with me. So that's cool. So we're on the rides, and it's weird. Like she started trying to grab my hand, hold my hand. Like not just hold my hand like this, like interlocking fingers. Like one time she grabbed my hand on one of the rides and put it on her thigh. She had like shorts on or whatever. I'm like,
Danielle, you're sick.
I was like 14.
Yeah, call her out.
You're sick.
I agree.
I was like 14 years old. Like, and it was weird to me even then. And then she was just like, she had told me something like, if your mom ever let you come over, you know, like she had said something weird. I'm just like, okay. I was so like blind to it. I didn't notice till after. And so years later, when I told my mom, she was just like, she got hot.
Why you?
She got hot. She was like, I told her like a couple years before she passed away, she was like, I'm gonna find that bitch. I was like, Mom, that was like 15 years ago. Don't do nothing. It was just like, no, I didn't know she was trying to do that to you that day. I was there. Oh, she was so mad.
Bro, you're sick, Danielle. Just for the record, you're sick. And I hope you got your karma too.
It was weird. Like now looking back in the moment, it felt like a little awkward, but I'm like, she's my mama's friend, you know, that's cool. She's like my cool version of my mom that's gonna hang out with me, you know, like come on the rides with me. That's fun. But
my mama, and I'm a girl. My mama friends wouldn't get none of that from me. I'll be wanting to hug them.
God damn.
But on the flip side of the other situation, what it made me think of when you guys brought up earlier the 18, you know, age range. A lot of the dating I did was via the internet. You know, I grew up in the early internet era, so it was like, you know, even before
Black Planet.
Yes, that is the.
You was out here using Black Planet.
That is the exact site.
Black Planet was a dinosaur. I just could never get into it.
That's how my brother met his wife.
Really?
Yeah.
I had at least
years strong. They still going strong.
3 separate relationships that I got started off of Black Planet. So I started on there when I was like 16.
Now Black Planet being the original Black people meet.
It really, really was. It really was.
No, fact.
Really I didn't even know Black Planet was a dating thing until like my late 20s, because I used to be on Black Planet, but I used to read poems. Like I legit would go on there just to read the poetry. I had absolutely no idea you could converse with people. That was a dating site. Absolutely nothing. I would go on there to read fucking poems.
I used to be on there like that.
You were doing what you were meant to do, man.
I also was scared.
That wasn't supposed to be part of your life.
I was kind of scared of social media when it first came out. I wasn't touching it. But then I did.
Black Planet was like that. It shifted to that other side when afterwards, where it was more for creative and people doing other stuff. But when I was on there 2002, 2003, it was, people getting to know each other. But that was before you could even upload pictures to the site. So I didn't know who I was talking to. And I met a girl on there who was a little bit younger than me. Now I feel like it was a little weird. She was 3 years younger than me, but her birthday was way before mine, like way earlier in the year. So it was like 2 years, really, like 2 years around there. So when I met her, I was 16 going on 17, I think, and she was 15, I think, something like that. But we continued a friendship and relationship until I turned 18. So it wasn't like I approached her. I was still in high school when I approached her, when I talked to her online. And I didn't know her age until after. But we still communicated. But we continued a relationship after I turned 18 because she was the only person that was there for me. Her and I are still like really, really good friends.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I can't say her name because she'd be mad at me. But I realize now that I should have ended it, that we had a situation happen where it didn't feel weird at the time, but her and I have been conversing for almost a year while I was locked up in juvenile hall. So when I got out when I was 18, I'm like, this is still, it felt normal. I didn't feel like I was grown yet, but I realized that we had a situation happen where I went to her house and snuck in. She snuck me in her house to spend the night with her. She insisted upon.
So she was 16.
Yeah, she insisted upon me spending the night. Like I did not ask her to. I wanted to see her. She was like, "Come spend the night," and we're actually, we're gonna do it. And by the time I finally got in the house,
that was routine for her.
It was like a whole lot.
She did that before.
No,
she didn't.
No,
and she was that like.
She was insisting upon it because
her and I had been talking.
We was talking for so long.
That was me.
When you say, man.
I can't lie. That was me. My first time, my boyfriend was older and he kept asking, like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yes." He's like, "Are you sure?" Like, I swear to God, if you are not okay with this, we don't have to do it. I was like, "I'm perfectly fine. Like, this is what I want to do." And he kept asking me if I was sure so much that I said, "I swear to fucking God, if you ask me if I'm sure one more time, I'm gonna punch you." Like, that was me. I was her. That was me.
She was very much so very more sexually mature than I was. Even though I had a partner at the time, one partner.
So she was sexually mature, but she didn't do that before.
She just didn't do it before. She just hadn't done the act. But she was like, she's the one that taught me about phone sex.
Not me talking.
Sex and everything. She taught me about phone sex and everything. I didn't know what was going on. So when I get invited over there. I try to sneak in. I didn't get to sneak in until like 4 a.m. because her dad kept waking up and crazy story. I'll go into detail another time. But so when I got in the house with her, I was dead tired. Like I would been up all day waiting to sneak in her house. When I get in there at 4 a.m, she's like, "Let's do it." I know we did it that night, but I don't remember.
Dang.
I don't remember because I was dead tired. So I'm sitting there literally. I went to sleep and I had the condom still on. And so I went to sleep and I don't know why she thought it was a good idea to put a beach ball behind her door. That was gonna hold it back from. So her mom walked in and mind you, I said I still have the condom on, my butt is out. And her mom says, "I know I'm not seeing what I think I'm seeing right now." I ran out the house. Pants hanging off my butt.
Bro, you did some TV type stuff.
Condom hanging off of me. But I realize now why her mom and then her dad got so upset, because I was an 18-year-old boy talking to their 16-year-old daughter. Like I said, they didn't know the fact that her and I had been talking for almost 2 years at that point. Like I met her when I was still in high school, but it felt weird. Now I see that, hey, I should have been the person to cut it off.
Yeah, but you was a child and you wasn't gonna do that.
No,
like you said, 18 is 18 is still a child. But I do feel like 18-year-olds a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times they be into a lot more than a 15, 16-year-old.
I was not there yet though. I was very much ignorant to life. I was still 16-year-old at that age.
You were. From all the
I grew up way faster after that. You know, life started hitting me like real fast after that. But at that point, when I was still with her, I was really head over heels in love. Like it wasn't no power struggle. Like I said, when it came to the sex thing, she was way more ambitious and all of that than I was. I was just like,
you said ambitious.
Yeah, she wanted to do all kind of stuff. She wanted to do it in public and stuff. And I was just like, wait, but we're gonna get in trouble in the police, and I don't think that's right.
Yeah, she sound like me, but I ain't gonna say I wasn't 16. That happened throughout my whole life.
Not the police.
I was scared as hell, but she had like I'll tell another like her story about her and I later. But yeah, that's my story. I don't want to take over everything.
That's very similar to mine.
It's similar to yours. Except you were the 16-year-old girl.
Yeah, I was of course I've been, like Seye said, catcalled by older men, damn near stalked by older men. Like it gets to a point where like I recognize faces, like those particular faces. When I see them, I have I cannot tell you any names, probably one, but I recognize faces. And it started when I was like 6. It was like this grown ass man, or he seemed grown to me. He probably was in high school. I don't know, but it was to me grown ass man at school that would be like at the school. And every time I passed by, he was like, "You sure is a pretty thing. That's gonna be my future wife right there." It didn't bother me at first. I used to not pay attention, but he started saying it so much, it started making me uncomfortable. And I told my mama, because I think my mama knew him, and she rose hell. And it went from that to him not saying anything to me at all, to him just not even going to the school no more. So I don't know what happened with that. But as far as Royal's situation, that's how mine started. I was dating a guy that was 2 years. I don't go no higher, or I try not to go no higher than 2 years older than me.
I don't think that's bad.
But see, when we had the same friend group, all of them, like it was a mixture of us, like 14, 15, 16, 17. Like all of us just hang out together. Like we lived in the same apartment complex, so we hung out a lot. So age wasn't really something that was discussed because all of us was in high school. I was 15 and he was getting ready to turn 17, I think. We first started talking, like conversing, and then got closer and just started dating. My mom didn't like it. She never explained why. She just didn't like him, but she never explained why. So
it wasn't the age thing.
She never said it was an age thing. Like before he turned 18, she just didn't like him, but she could not, even to this day, she cannot tell me why she didn't like him. I always found weird. I'm like, he has literally done nothing. So what is it that you don't like? But of course, like you stated earlier, the more you say no, the more you gonna want to date him. So we started dating in secret. Like I would sneak over to his house and stuff. His mama really didn't care. Like she was so sweet. She was so nice. She didn't care. She was just like, if your mama asks, I ain't got shit to do with this. That's all she was like. So she didn't care. But just like Royal got out, I got out. Except we weren't in the middle. We weren't doing the do. We hadn't done the do. I mean, we had sex, but not that particular day or time. So this was the time of Blockbuster. So he used to go and rent movies, and if it was something I wanted to see before he would return it, he would let me borrow it. So he actually had gotten a job while he was in high school and he was working for the city. He got off late, and it just so happened the place he worked at was directly down the road from where I live. So he was gonna pass through. I was gonna give him the movie back, and he was gonna be on his way. Well, he came. I told him he could come in. We wanted to make, and like this is legit, genuine shit. Like it's so bad. We just wanted to make sure the movie was still gonna play. So he's sitting on the bed, fully clothed, ready to go. Like we hadn't done anything. He had just come in, stepped in, sat down. I put the movie in, tried to, rewind, fast forward, make sure everything was playing right. I don't know why I hadn't locked the door, or I thought I had locked the door. I still had the remote in my hand, both of us looking up at the TV. He is on the edge of the bed by the window. I'm all the way on the other side of the bed at the top, looking at the TV, and my grandma walked in.
Dang, not even your mama, your grandma walked in.
I was living with my grandma, so my grandma walked in, and it was over from there. Like she was cussing, calling me all out my name and all kinds of shit. My mama was more mad that she was doing that than the act itself. But the problem that they had was he had just turned 18. So they was like, if my grandma had decided to call the police, he could have gone. So my mama and his mom, because they had called his mom and they had like set us down and was talking. It was like, this could have gone a completely different way than what it had gone. And they, of course, was like, y'all got to stop talking to each other, which we didn't for a while.
Y'all started talking when he was 17 though, right?
Yeah, he had just, I think when I had turned 15, I was already 15 and he was getting ready to turn 17. So we had been talking for years.
I didn't know that there was laws till after, but there is laws for that in most states called Romeo and Juliet laws, like where your relationship started when you were teenagers, and one person turns 18 and you can't be charged. You had a relationship beforehand.
Yeah, that's why I say nothing is wrong with that because of that. It's like history. It's not like you met him, like he was 18 and y'all met and you was what? You said he was 2 years older than you? You was 16 and y'all met. So it's like, how can that be wrong?
Yeah, and like I said, we had the same friend group. So even if we weren't dating, we were still hanging out around each other because we had the same friend group. So anytime all of us was hanging out, we were around each other. But yeah, I was that girl. I was the persistent one.
So with me, like Van said earlier, like I started noticing older men looking at me when I was really young. Like I was real young. I was like probably before I was 6. Not just older men either, but just like anybody, people older than me, because it wasn't just men, it was girls, it was people. It was grown people, and then it was like people a little older than me. But I noticed it probably before I was 6, and it kind of just been my whole life. Like just people, it feels like fetishizing, I guess you can say. Me and Van talked about this when we did the pretty privilege talk or whatever, how kind of like how my experience was with that. And I never picked it up, noticed that it was pretty privileged because I was young and I didn't know what the heck that was. Never talked about around me or whatever. But just people being fascinated with me because of the way that I looked, people just being enamored, and it was pretty much like my whole life. Like, but I noticed it when I was probably a little under 6, and like I got really good at ignoring it. Like sometimes you know how you have conversations with certain people and they try to like throw hints, but I used to act like I was naive, like I didn't know what they were doing. I used to act like it just went past my head, but I knew exactly what they would be doing. I just would act like I didn't a lot of the times, and sometimes that's how I feel like that's how I got to the point of it just not to the point of it just being no. I always was a no person, but it happened so much. I had to kind of get used to being looked at a certain type of way. I had to get used to like being sexualized and being fetishized, because I feel like that's pretty much what it was. And it would be weird. It wasn't always sexual, so it was confusing. So it was like, what like enjoyment are you getting with my presence, like with looking at me? I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. It was weird, and it affected me a lot more than I actually realized. I didn't realize how much it affected me until a couple of years ago, maybe not even a couple of years ago. That's what made me write the book or whatever. When I started like sitting and thinking about it, because I'm a child who was very talented, multi-talented. I could do a whole lot of things. And I would have people like trying to convince my mama to like make me do certain things, like put her in this, put her in that, put her in pageants, do this with her, do that with her. I'll teach her, I'll train her how to do certain things or whatever, but she would just never do it. She would never like allow me to get in those spaces. And I really feel like things probably would have happened to me if she would have, but she didn't. She just would tell people no. And she would ask me sometimes if I wanted to do certain things, and I would tell them no, because the people who would be asking her to do it had made me uncomfortable, so I don't feel comfortable around them, so I'm not doing it. So it made me kind of, I'm not gonna say shrink myself, it made me kind of like isolate myself, like fade into the background a lot of the times in a lot of situations. Like when I had opportunities to be a star or like do certain things, I would reject them, because it would always come from people who made me feel uncomfortable in however way, even if it wasn't sexual or whatever. But I felt like adults kind of like idolizing a child is weird, or like you fetishizing, or you like looking at them. You give them stuff because they're pretty. You do certain things because that is weird to me. Like it was weird, and it happened way too many times in my life. It happened so much. So it made me kind of like keep a lot of myself to myself. So it made me like hide things. I could sing, but I'm not singing in front of everybody because I don't want them to know that, because that'll be something else that they'll try to make me do. I could do this, but I'm not going to do it because it became that. So I wouldn't do certain things because of that. So I'll say from the time I was a little girl, I noticed people in general, because it wasn't just men. But then as I got older, it became mostly men doing it. Women too, but it would be like older women most of the time. Women that were a lot older than me, but both, I guess. But it would be men a lot of the times, like the looks. But also I come from a family where my family will literally fight you. They would probably kill somebody over me. So that kind of kept things a lot more things, because things did happen, but it was from kids. And I did have this teacher who was a pedophile, my third grade teacher, and he got in trouble like years later when we was an adult. I can't remember, because like the things that he used to do with us was inappropriate too, because we used to have what we would call a special area. It was a group of us. It was me. I was friends with these. Was it all of us that he used to keep in class, or was it just me and one of my friends? I think it was just me and her. I don't remember if it was, because it was a group of 4, but I don't remember if it was all 4 of us or it was just me and her, that when it was time to go to special area, we would stay in the class and we would like help him. We would like grade papers. We would like do report cards. We would like stuff like that. When we supposed to be doing certain things, he would keep us in the classroom with him. If anything ever happened, I don't remember. I can't say he did anything inappropriate, but just that was inappropriate. Just what he was doing with us was inappropriate. But because I don't remember, and I have this thing where I'll create another reality than what happened to kind of escape what happened to me. So like I said, I can't say anything happened because I don't remember. But it was that, like, it was just a lot of stuff. Like, I feel like when it comes to like pretty privilege and stuff like that, people, like, when you hear certain people talk about things, y'all get annoyed because y'all be jealous. Y'all get annoyed because y'all be jealous and stuff like that. So when we talk about it, it annoys y'all because it's like you're complaining about getting attention. You're complaining about people liking you and stuff like that. How dare you? As if that's not as if it's not an issue. Like, it's weird, especially as a kid, for people to treat you a certain type of way because they like how you look, regardless of whether you got that treatment or not. It was weird. It was something that should not have happened. So we all have our own experiences, and we're all going to have some type of trauma from it. So it's not unrealistic for people who y'all feel got the most attention to have trauma. And y'all need to, it's weird because I be seeing y'all in the comments and stuff saying certain things, and certain things have been said to me. So I understand how y'all feel, but at the same time, that don't mean nothing that we couldn't have been through some stuff. Like, because you could have. Yeah, like, it's hate, and you really hate me because I got attention, and you think that me talking about this is me wanting more attention, which is weird, but whatever. But yeah, so that was my experience, and it did impact my life a lot. It did. So I have been in this stage of trying to, be more open with me, the things that I'm good at, in exposing myself to the world and not being triggered by it and stuff like that. So yeah, but yeah, I'm trying to think of something else. I think I had a specific story to tell too, but I can't remember. But yeah, I had a lot of that experience, just people treating me a certain type of way and looking at me a certain type of way. But when it came to adults, things didn't go that far because of who my family was, and people didn't want to have those problems. So they kind of like left it at being creepy from afar and saying little stuff to me, like Van said, you so pretty, you gonna be my wife one day. Or I would have people trying to hook me up with their sons, and it would be like, how old are you? Like, I got a son that's this age, and I want you to date my son. You so pretty, I want you to date my son. And I used to think to myself, you want me to date your son, or you want me to date your son so I can be close to you, so you can have access to me?
That's
because
weird.
Even as a child, I understood that a lot of the stuff that they were doing was wrong, like, because of how it made me feel. But it would be a lot of weird stuff that they would say, which is why I'm so good at curving people. And I've just kind of I've kind of like gotten used to having that type of attention. So when people ask me certain things about, like, when I cosplay, like, it don't bother me no more because I'm desensitized to it, because I'm used to it. It's like, that's just how people gonna be, so I ignore it. And I also got really good at curving people because of that. Like, a lot of, like I told Royal sometimes, like I told Royal before, sometimes I do it and they don't even realize that it's happening. but yeah, that's my story time. But if nobody else has anything to add, we can move on to the next segment, which is the wealthy health segment. Do you have any advice for the younger generation when it comes to dating older people?
Don't.
I was just about to say it.
We were all about to say it. Don't.
Right.
Just don't. Just don't.
Stop being.
Just wait.
Also, at least not until you're a full adult and realize that the reason they're dating younger is because they're actually losers of their age group.
That is Absolutely correct. Also, stop being so sucked in by this sugar baby culture. Like, enamored by what these people can do for you, and I just want to get a bag, and he doing things for me, so it's cool. It's a transactional type of thing. And if that's what y'all want to do that, because I know y'all not gonna listen, but it's weird. It's very weird. And just because you're getting things does not make it less weird. It's still weird. You're still sitting on grandpa's lap. That's Santa Claus. He brings you gifts. He's an old man whose lap you sit on, and he gives you gifts. That's Santa Claus. Like, it's weird to me because them niggas is older than everybody in my family. I can't bring no 70-year-old man home. That nigga is grandpa to my grandma. It just don't go. It don't make sense. It's weird.
I feel like once you are a full-grown adult, of course, there's a lot more to it than just, what it looks like on the outside. But hey, if you got it in you, go for it. If they already creeping you out, you might as well get paid for it.
Do whatever you want to do. Like, I don't care, but I do think it's weird, and I do judge y'all. But go for it. Do your thing. But I feel like
and it's like you've done these things to me. The absolute least you can do is pay me something.
Do what to you though? Like, do what? What are they doing?
I ain't going to detail for that.
what space are they doing things to you first, and then you get paid for it? I thought it was, if you give me this, I'll give you this. Rather than them doing something first,
saying,
and
if
then
something has already been done, or you're already making somebody feel some type of way, the least you can do, the absolute least you can do, if you're not gonna leave somebody alone and you're okay with it, the least you can do is get paid.
I don't know what she's talking about, but all right. But all right, because I didn't want nothing from no stalker or no creep or somebody that's doing something to weird me out, because that just encourages them to keep being creepy. And then next thing you know, you're getting sexually assaulted. It just encourages it. So yeah, that's dangerous.
Definitely levels to that. If you feel like you are okay with those possibilities and those risks, that's you.
Yeah, I'm good on that. I'm gonna shut you down, especially if you like certain things you say. I'm obsessed with you. Like, this boy told me that the other day. Like, why would you say that? Now I'm not talking to you anymore.
Delete all your social media, block them, everything.
Yeah, I'm not, like, I ain't gonna talk to you no more now. Obsessed with me? But do whatever you want to do. Just be safe out there. That can be dangerous. That could be very dangerous.
I would just say, like, I think Seye said it, just don't do it because you're dating the losers of your
right.
You talk about you got losers when you're young or whatever. You just dating a loser that grew up. That was it.
He just got older, got a little beard, maybe that's not connecting right now, but
And the guys too. I hate the fact that men are praised for doing something like that, like, getting the older women instead of us calling out the women for being sick. We gotta be doing it both ways.
Black China dating Y and J sick.
And people sitting there thinking it's okay, or shaming a guy or whatever. Well, it was okay.
Not Y and J, you wanted the other boy.
You wanted it when you was younger or whatever like that. You wanted it, so it's not molestation. No, you're still being molested.
Or y'all high-fiving each other in the group. Y'all high-fiving each. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say there are men still that, like, when they hear cases like that, like little boys getting molested or raped by women, like teachers and shit, and then they make jokes about them like going to high school as an adult, trying to pretend to be a high schooler so they can get the teacher to look at them. And it's like, that's weird.
I think it's also a defense mechanism.
That's weird, and she ain't gonna ever go for you because she went for younger people.
I think for men,
people are crazy
when they make jokes about it and they praise it. It's a defense mechanism, so they won't have to deal with the reality that they were molested, like you were molested. It don't matter how you flip it; they molested you, and that's what happened. You're not cool because you had sex with an older woman. She groomed you. She molested you. That's the only way to look at it. But I feel like it's a defense mechanism that they use so they don't have to think about it. So it's cool when men do it because we don't want to deal with the emotional turmoil that comes with admitting that that's what happened to me. But a lot of y'all have been molested.
They all give each other kudo points because they feel they push that narrative that boys are supposed to always want it. Like no matter what, as long as she ain't old, like an old lady, you're supposed to always want it. And it's like if you're a young boy and a woman coming after you, who was that did that? Wasn't that Boosie that had hired what was like a stripper or something?
Yeah, for his son. Fucking weirdo.
They encourage that stuff. They don't care, and they will sit there and say, "I wish my teacher would have did this," or "I wish this certain teacher would have did that." Like they will say that. I don't even
because
think
that's
it's to
like
a point where they don't want to accept it. They just really feel like that's what they want.
No, some of them, because I feel like some of them don't even think about it like that. Because I remember Charlamagne was talking about it on the Breakfast Club, and somebody told him he got molested, and he said he never even thought about it like that. Now, when they have those conversations, he says that. He says, this person brought it to my attention. We actually got molested. It was molestation. That happened to me too. Or whatever. At first, he thought it was cool or whatever, but he now has acknowledged it and accepted that that's what it was. And now when people make those jokes, he'll bring it up.
It's so wild that a lot of them, like too many, are okay with it. I'll say it like that. I can't say a majority. I'll say it's just too many that still don't accept that.
And I see so many posts like when these boys start telling on those teachers, and I seen a whole videos where they were talking about, oh, something's wrong with this generation. Why they telling on them? I can't believe I'd have been happy that I was sleeping with the teacher. I wouldn't have told them.
Because I think they see it as a like, it's like, man, your manhood, like you're a man now.
It's a badge of honor.
You slept with an older woman, you're a man, like you that nigga. You pulled the teacher when literally she's sick. Number one, she's not no like prize because she preyed on a child. So I don't even know why you looking at her like that. She's not a prize.
If it's not okay to happen to a little girl, it's not okay to happen to a little boy. As soon as people get that through their heads, we'll be a lot better in this society.
Exactly. And just so you won't forget, Danielle, you're sick.
God damn. I love the reiteration. I swear to God. And just so we didn't forget. Danielle, yes.
Yeah, you
we have not forgotten.
We did not forget.
Ain't nobody forget. Danielle, you're sick. For the millionth time, Danielle, you're sick.
But yeah, I feel like, yeah, like Seye said, don't do it. But if you want to, that's your business. Like I ain't a therapist to all y'all. Some of y'all are hell bent on doing whatever it is y'all want to do because y'all are adults. So do whatever you want to do. But just know that there might be a time where like you gotta face that what you did. It's gonna be
like them old style geishas, all old and worn out and ain't got shit else but makeup and wrinkles.
Right. And then at that point, it's like you realize, and I feel like our generation is like to have fun, like stop questioning things, just do what's fun to you. Just have fun, go out and live, go outside and party and do all this. And it's like
still ask questions. Definitely still ask questions.
Right. It's like have fun, yeah, but there's a responsible fun and there's an irresponsible fun. Fun does not have to be irresponsible. It's not supposed to be irresponsible, but that's gonna fall on deaf ears. So I'm not even gonna keep going on about it. Do what y'all want to do. But moving on to the next segment, the what would you do segment. We don't have any questions today, but don't forget, if you want advice or you have any questions, email us at socialcyclepod@gmail.com and we will respond to you as best as we can. And that's fast. Also, Spotify now has a feature where you can leave voice messages and y'all can send us questions or maybe even just a comment about how y'all feel about the podcast. And we will play it on the episode, the next episode, if you do. So don't forget about that. I'll also put a link.
We really want y'all to start interacting for real.
Like, we do.
It's gonna be a good time. It makes the conversation more interesting. Please email. Use all these tools to get at us. Don't be afraid that you're gonna look stupid or something like that. Yeah. Just say it, and you can be anonymous too.
Yeah, you can be anonymous. We ain't gonna call. Even if y'all say my name, I'm not saying it. I'm not messy. I'm not doing that.
Like, if you want to join, say you want to join in on an episode for a specific
that
topic.
too. That as well. Which I got to get my list together. So I got people that said that they. I just forgot to get back with them. But yeah. Make sure y'all email us at socialcyclepod@gmail.com if y'all have a question or if y'all want advice. And also use the message feature on Spotify. And let us know what you think about the episode. Go on your little rant. If you want to rant about something we said, do that. We ain't scared of confrontation.
At all.
You know?
We want all the smoke.
Exactly. just as long as you know, you gonna get it back. But moving on to the Black Life segment. Do you have any fears about pedophilia becoming illegal? And of course, that's a no-brainer, but speak on it if y'all want to.
We're in a time where anything is possible. Like, it's crazy that I had to learn about NAMBLA through South Park. And I'm like, this is a joke. I mean, it's like, no, it's really a real thing. Like, there's a whole association for the National Association of Man-Boy Love, the National American Man-Boy Love Association. This is a real thing. There's other things just like it that these groups are getting money, and we know that these politicians can be paid to do whatever you want them to do. So somebody with deep enough pockets, if they could turn just enough people to do it, it's something that can and will happen if we don't stop it. And I am really afraid when that time happens, and then it becomes a normal thing. Like, I just can't imagine the arguments happening. Like, come on now.
The arguments, the wars, because people gonna protect their kids. The war, that's all that's gonna start a war.
I'm gonna protect my nieces and nephews. Please don't try it.
Me too.
Please don't try it.
That's all it's gonna do, start fighting. You think it gonna be some people that's gonna give their kids up because they're sick in their heads, but it's gonna be some people, most people are going to protect their children. I just feel bad for like the ones who can't count on their parents. I feel bad for that. But I kind of feel like our government is trying to trigger an Armageddon. So they're just like throwing things out there, like, let's do this, let's do that, like, let's try this, let's try that. I feel like they're trying to create an end of the world scenario because they feel like they're going to be protected, the rich people. Nothing is going to happen to us because we got money and we are prepared for stuff like this. And I feel like it's going to backfire so hard on them.
When they realize they are drastically outnumbered.
Like, it's going back. And that's the problem with having 1% of the people with money. What you think gonna happen to you?
Go after the rich first.
We gotta get them out the way too. Just like the dinosaurs, they gotta go. Because hoarding money is wild when a bunch of people are hungry. I want money to help people. And I'm not one of them people that's just saying that because I don't have money, but I'll let my actions speak for themselves when the time comes.
That's how it's gonna be for me. And like, man, you made it. And I'm just like, now you realize a whole bunch of other people made it because of me. Because I'm gonna make sure that they can. I'm giving hand ups, not handouts. I'm giving people. I'm pulling you out of this situation just with me. Let's go.
Exactly. Because I'm trying to change my relationship to money because I know that I have to care about money to get it, but I don't. This is the last time I'm gonna say it. Universe, I'm lying. I'm not for real. I don't care about money. I don't care about it. But if I can make money doing the amazing things that I'm capable of doing, then I'm gonna do that and I'm gonna help as many people as I can. But my fear, I don't really have a fear because I feel like we gonna make sure our kids good. Yeah, I ain't got no kids, and we gonna make all y'all kids is my kids. Even y'all who don't care about y'all kids, they mine. And we gonna make sure our kids good. So I guess we gotta prepare for war. Simple. What about you, Shaya?
Damn. Yeah, I don't have a fear. I don't.
Yeah, because we gonna be good. We gonna fight for our
kids. It's fine. Like I'ma just hold on to what you said. Back it up 100%.
If it's where you want, is where you gonna get.
That's what you're gonna get. That's exactly what you're gonna get.
Y'all really think y'all can beat us? Y'all had to make guns to beat us, bro. Bro, we've been fighting with these our whole lives. Y'all had to make guns to beat us. Y'all think y'all gonna beat us? Crazy. Van, anything you have to add to that? Bruh, you and that mute button, you can tell that you do customer service because you and that mute button are one and the same. Like, that junk is an extension of you. I swear.
She sent me a video like that too. Like the whole conversation back and forth. You're like, motherfucker.
Bro, me too. I saw that video too. I'm like, bro, this is how I was too when I was doing the what the thing called? What was I doing? I forgot. The surveys, yeah. That it should be coming back around. They need to hurry up. This election year. I want to make that money. But anyways, if there's not anything else to add to that, then we are going to end the episode right here. Thank you for coming and talking to me. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm tired. Talking to me on this platform. And thank all of you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and leave your messages and email us at socialpsychopod@gmail.com if you have any questions or if you want advice. Or if you want to curse us out for something, because like I said, we're not afraid of confrontation. Just know you're going to get it back. But like, make sure y'all do all that. Run up our numbers. Interact with us so we won't feel like we're talking to ourselves. Like, we get comments from y'all every now and then, but... And also, watch more than our clips. Watch the full episodes, because y'all just be taking clips and being like, and making judgments off of that. You cannot make a judgment about something unless you see the full thing. Watch the full episode. The links are in the descriptions always.
And then make your opinion after.
Exactly.
Your opinion after.
That's those people that be like, I didn't hear any solutions, just complaining. Did you watch the full episode?
Exactly. But
there's literally a section that says, how do we fix it?
Exactly. And put all of the questions in the descriptions for y'all to answer for each segment. So participate in that way. Even if you don't want to come on and talk to us, get in the comments and answer the questions. You know, we just want to have these conversations and connect with each other to see, you know, who thinks what, not necessarily for a reason, but you know, just to have conversation because it's important. But thank you for watching. Run up the numbers. Send us one of y'all want to be the first person to send us a message. I know y'all do. Y'all like being the first to do stuff. Y'all like being the first to do stuff. I know one of y'all want to be the first person to send us an email or a message. So do that. And we'll see y'all.
What'll happen.
Right. And we will see you guys on the next episode. Bye.